The first speaker is Mr. Leong Sze Hian. He is a financial advisor and a social activist. And I call upon him to share his views with us. Mr. Leong.
We are in denial! No, it is not we are in denial. It is very sad. It is very sad. But before the sadness begins, let me tell you something that's different about Speaker's Corner today. I've come to speak many times at Speaker's Corner. Today you might not have noticed. It's different. It looks different. You know why? Just in case if a thunderstorm comes, you have a problem. Because the sheltered area at the back, where everybody will run when the thunderstorm comes, is now blocked by all these giant-sized pot of plants, 8-9 foot plants. But don't worry, if you go by the side, now you can still go in. So that's what's different I noticed about Speaker's Corner today. The other thing very important to older people especially, like me, the CC is closed today, so the toilets are also closed. So you have less toilets to use, but there's another tiny one over there. It is very sad because sometimes the statistics appear to look better, but maybe only appear to look better. Let me give you an example. The job placement rate last year was 18%. What is job placement rate? Jobs placed divided by number of job seekers attended to. So last year, number of job seekers attended to was about 100,000. Jobs placed about 20,000. So you take the calculator, you calculate job placement rate 18%. In the recent statistics report, now this is the same report because the statistics report come out every month. In the same report, when I calculate the job placement rate, it's gone up to 49%. How come from 18 can jump to 49%? The job seekers attended to has been changed to new registrants. New registrants 40,000. So 20,000 jobs placed divided by these new residents, by magic, stroke of a pen, the job placement rate has jumped 2.7 times from 18% to 49%. I don't know what's the difference between job seekers attended to and new registrants. But the statistic is the same. It's the same year. Very sad, right?
Yes.
Normal.
Last year's employment change. Employment change is increase in the number of jobs. Last year's employment change. 70,000 foreign workers. 59,000 locals. So you look at that, you calculate, what you get is 55% of the employment change went to foreign workers. 45% went to locals. But that's not all. Because the locals is not broken down into Singaporeans and PRs.
Yes.
You know, Singapore very funny. I think the computer program got problem, you know. When it comes to unemployment data, the computer program can compute and break down unemployment data. But when it comes to employment change data, the computer program cannot break down. Maybe the computer is breaking down. So, if we assume 15% of the locals is PRs, are PRs, then what happens? Your 45% locals become about 38% Singaporeans. You know, in 2001, the new intake of new citizens was 19,777. In 2011, the new intake of new PRs was 27,500. So you factor these new citizens, the new PRs, maybe even less than the 38%. when you look at numbers like this, and you keep hearing in recent years the rhetoric, oh, we will curtail the influx of foreign workers, and then you look at the numbers like this. It's very sad, right?
Yes.
Look, you don't mention about employment pass. You saw the media headlines, right? Employment pass drop. When you read further, it says employment pass drop 1%. S-pass increased 25%. You add the two together, all together increased 9%.
That's right.
That's why Lee Hsien power.
Then you read some more, it says some of the employment pass actually converted to S-pass. The next problem we have is Singaporeans are being told it's like the same song over and over again, you know.
Broken
In
record.
order for your wages to go up, you must have good economic growth. So let me give you some wage numbers. I estimate. Now, sometimes I say I estimate. You know why? Because I'm a layman, I'm just an ordinary citizen. My only resources are Google and sometimes go to the library, you know. So as I estimate means I find what information I can, and then I crunch the numbers, I count the figures. So if I make an honest mistake, please don't sue me. And also please don't arrest me. So I estimate in the last 12 years, 2000 to 2012, the real growth in the median wage, excluding employer CPF contribution, was only about 0.4% per annum. Wow! The basic wage, what's the difference between basic wage and gross wage? Gross wage includes things like overtime. Basic wage is like basic pay. So from 1999 to 2011, also 12 years, the basic wage, I estimate, out of the 8 categories of workers in Singapore, 4 of them, the real growth per annum was 0 or minus. There are 8 major categories of workers: managers, professionals, service and sales workers, cleaners and laborers, and what have you. So 4 out of 8, 0 or minus. The other 4, I estimate, per annum real wage growth, basic, 0.5 or less for 12 years.
Yeah, just me.
When you crunch numbers like this and you look at them, it's very sad, no?
Yes, very sad.
Now that I've given you some examples, or rather I started by talking about statistics that appear to look better. Now let me talk about statistics that nobody knows. HDB, 1 year deficit, 1 billion. Every flat we sell, we lose money.
Close lah. Step down. Close. Oh, no good job.
A few years ago, the deficit was 2 billion when we were presumably building even lesser flats. So we lose money on every flat we sell. We build more flats, we lose 1 billion. A few years ago, we build less flats, we lose 2 billion. This is not sad, this is very funny, okay?
Step down.
According to a reply in Parliament, in 1987, a 4-room flat in Pasir Ris, the selling price was about 56,000. The land cost was about 18,000. Fast forward to 2011 May, the last BTO for Pasir Ris, a 4-room flat is now 294,000 to 357,000. I give you the benefit of the doubt. I take the 294,000 to explain to you. If the land cost is 18,000 in 1987, if I assume the land cost increased, let's say by 5% per annum, come to 2011, the land cost about 60,000. You take the cheapest flat at Pasir Ris, 294,000 minus 60,000, you get 234,000.
You mean the building cost, the construction cost is 234,000 for 4-room flat? Cannot be right. My friends tell me good estimate would be around 140, 150,000. So you go figure. Let me use what I call the chicken rice analogy. You sell chicken rice, you sell $3. Then you tell people, hey, it's very cheap, very reasonable, because the 5-star restaurant sell $5. You know, I only sell $3. Actually, I lose money. Every plate I sell you, I lose $1 because it cost me $4. Why? The chicken actually $1, but I have to buy the rice for my brother. You know, I got to pay my brother $3. Then we operate a joint account together. You go figure who's making money and who's losing money. Every once in a while, MPs ask in Parliament, people write to the newspaper forum, can you break down the cost of building HDB flat? No answer. It's like saying, can you break down the chicken and the rice now? Cannot also. If ordinary citizens have to come to honglim to ask for transparency on basic information like the breakdown of the cost of building HDB flats, I think it's really very sad. In recent years, you hear all the rhetoric. We will do more to help you. We will give you more subsidies. We will help the poor. We will help the elderly. We will do this, we will do that. Now, if you are helping people, you must be spending more money, right? So, I look at the budget. You know, last year, spending on social development. What is spending on social development? Social spending is education, healthcare, community development, and others. In 2011, the social spending, operating expenditure, was 17.7 billion. Come to 2012, it actually went down to 17.5 billion. I haven't counted inflation for that year yet. Last year inflation about 4.6%. I haven't counted the population that is going up in that year. So how can you keep on saying you are doing more, and then you're spending less money and haven't even counted inflation and the number of people that's gone up?
Foreign students. They spend money on the foreign students.
Even development expenditure for social spending has gone down. In 2011 was 3.7 billion, come to 2012 is only 3.5 billion. I give you one specific example on social spending, education, and in particular university education. In 1986, the tuition fee to go to university was $1,200, medicine $1,300. Fast forward to this year, 2013, the tuition from normal course has gone up to about 7,600. For medicine is like more than 20,000. So you take the calculator, financial calculator, not ordinary calculator. You calculate how much has tuition fees increased from 1986 to 2013. For other courses, it's more than 7% per annum. For law, it's like 8+ per annum. And for medicine, it's 11+ per annum. Your inflation during this period was only about 2%. And government spending per university student, according to a media report quoting the then education minister, was 14,400 then. According to the Ministry of Education's Education Digest in 2012, now the spending is about 21,000. You take the financial calculator, you calculate again, you're only spending about 1.4% more per annum against the tuition increase of 7 to 11% per annum and inflation of only 2% per annum. We have a lot of money.
They have money
Because
for foreign students.
if you look at the budget surplus last year was 3.9 billion. But according to the Department of Statistics monthly digest of statistics, Your surplus last year was 36 billion. How come 3.9 billion become 36 billion? Because if you see in the footnote, there's an explanation. According to IMF standards, some revenue like land sales, some of the return the reserves are recognized by IMF standards as revenue. But for our budget, we don't recognize. That's why there's such a big difference. Some of the transfers to endowment funds, they also IMF standard, you cannot count the expenditure, no. Because you didn't spend the money. You only transfer money to spend the interest only. I'm going to end and do something I've never done before. Where have all the wages gone? Gone to GDP, everyone. Where have the GDP gone? Gone to the reserves, everyone. When will they ever learn? When will you ever learn? I better stop, right? Such horrible singing. But you know why I did that? I did that because I thought the message would be more impactful if I put it to song. And since it's so horrible, you can never forget. I saw a signal just now that my time is up. Okay, so I shall end now. I was contemplating whether to come to speak today, because you heard one speaker pull out at the last minute, right? And then, of course, 11 days ago, I was chided for what I wrote about Pulau Ubin, So, like Gilbert say, only you scared, I also scared, So I was thinking very hard, to come or not to come? Sometimes in life, sadness overcomes fear. And when ordinary citizens have to even think about this, it is a shame.
Yes.
It is really very, very sad when ordinaries have to think about whether to come or not to come to speak. Thank you.